Also coming up this morning, government to allocate 2% of GET fund to complement the implementation of free SHS and technical and vocational education TVET. We have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes. If you spend your time with me, remember you can also get interactive with us. Go to Facebook, we are live. Let's begin from the executive because President John Dramani Mahama has appointed Commissioner of Police COP Christian Teteyonu as the new Inspector General of Police IGP. The appointment made in accordance with Articles 91 and 202 of the 1992 Constitution and in consultation with the Council of State, sees COP Yonu taking over from COP Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, who has been relieved of his position. The statement signed by Phyllis Kwachiofusu, Minister for Government Communications and spokesperson to the President, noted that COP Yonu brings 40 years of experience in policing to his new role. He is expected to lead efforts in the modernization and transformation of the Ghana Police Service. Meanwhile, a few hours before President Mahama's appointment of COP Yonu as the new IGP, security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin and Imani Africa had prayed the Supreme Court to restrain the President from firing the IGP and any other security heads until an ongoing case relating to the matter is decided by the court in May 2025. According to the plaintiff, the said security heads will be unfairly treated if they are removed before the matter, which is pending before the Supreme Court, is heard. The development came on the back of earlier rumors that the President wanted to remove the Inspector General of Police and other heads of security agencies. Imani Africa and Professor Kwesi Enin have been in court since June 2024, challenging the powers of the President to revoke appointments of security heads without a proper legal basis. So we'll be following up on how this suit pans out in ensuing days, and we'll be finishing with update in our subsequent bulletins. And let's just stay with the executive. And President John Dramani Mahama has served notice to all CEOs of state-owned enterprises that he will not relent to crack the whip if they fail to meet their KPIs by the first quarter of 2025. In a stern directive with clear marching orders, the President declared zero tolerance for mediocrity and financial mismanagement in all state-owned enterprises with immediate effect.
A crunch meeting with CEOs of specified entities under the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, on Thursday painted a scary picture of what hitherto was thought to be some encouraging position the SOEs had. The books, however, gave them out.
These persistent losses does not reflect the potential of our state-owned enterprises. Unfortunately, some of them are posing significant fiscal risk to the economy of the Republic of Ghana. The two most threatening and most worrisome is the ECG and the Ghana Cocoa Board.
To enhance accountability, government has announced a raft of reforms granting SIGA greater powers to enforce performance contracts with SOE leadership, conduct financial assessments to ensure transparency, issue binding directives to struggling entities, commission independent audits to track financial efficiency, and impose consequences for poor performance. The finance minister, from his posturing, does not intend to prioritize any more bailouts to SOEs who can be viable with profits.
To reverse this trend, we must implement a bold turnaround strategy that transforms loss-making state-owned enterprises into financial viability and self-sustaining institutions. The strategy will include capacity-building initiatives to strengthen leadership and operational efficiency. The second will be the enhancement of corporate governance training to ensure strict regulatory compliance in all state-owned enterprises.
A greater responsibility now rests with SIGA to ensure strict compliance to reforms.
I urge you all to continuously strengthen governance practices in your respective agencies and entities. Beyond governance, we must embrace the challenge of transforming our SOEs into world-class enterprises, entities that are not only financially viable, but also globally competitive.
The president in his address minced no words.
Some of these enterprises have become perennial loss makers, draining public funds with bloated budgets, unjustified allowances and perks, and unnecessary expenditures, while relying on government bailouts as if they were entitled to them. The era of impunity, mediocrity, and financial recklessness must end today.
Taking the lead to declare his assets in record time, the president views any delay from his appointees as a clear disregard for the law, an act he will not countenance.
You are among the category of public officers obliged to declare your assets upon assuming office and also upon leaving office. The Director General of SIGA will ensure that you all comply with your assets declarations. The Auditor General will submit a list of those who have complied by an agreed cutoff date, and those who fail to comply would be sanctioned, including possible removal from office.
Well, in more news this morning, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says from April this year, Ghana's passport will be modernized into a chip-embedded passport. He says it is an international requirement and government is committed to achieving it. The minister was answering questions on the floor of Parliament on Thursday. Take a listen.
He says the process of using a chip-embedded passports began in 2010 and will be operational in April this year.
The introduction of the chip-embedded passport aligns with the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, standards, specifically ICAO Document 9303, which provides guidelines for implementing machine-readable travel documents and e-passports. This modernization effort is designed to enhance border security, reduce identity fraud, and streamline international travel for our citizens.
He added, government is introducing a 24-hour passport service and urged Ghanaians to take advantage of the opportunity to acquire passports in a more convenient manner. The minister also stated that the reduction in passport fees from 500 cedis to 350 cedis would not result in any loss to the country. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa also responded to questions regarding the relationship between Ghana and the current military leader in Burkina Faso.
Here we are faced with violent extremism, with terrorism. We need to share intelligence. We need to have bilateral engagements that will protect our territorial integrity. We need to make sure that the peace and stability of our country is protected. This is a period that requires diplomacy, that requires tact, that requires sober reflection. It requires a lot of wisdom and cautious rapprochement. That is what President Mahama is pursuing.
And Minister for Foreign Affairs Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says 150 Ghanaians are currently in various detention centers in the United States awaiting deportation to Ghana. He added that measures have been put in place to ensure their safe arrival and reintegration into society.
Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa was in Parliament to brief the House on the measures taken regarding the deportation of Ghanaians from the United States of America.
Officially, what U.S. authorities have communicated to us is 150. A key step in this process was the stakeholder meeting held on the 17th of February 2025. The meeting aimed to develop comprehensive preparatory measures in anticipation of potential deportations, evaluate vulnerabilities within the Ghanaian community, and establish necessary support mechanisms. One of the key outcomes of the meeting was the identification of resources needed to provide assistance to deported nationals, including transportation to their final destinations and any available reintegration programs. Additionally, the stakeholders discussed the importance of coordinating efforts between the ministry, local organizations, our international partners, to ensure that Ghanaian nationals who are deported are adequately supported upon their return to Ghana.
He clarified that the U.S. government will bear the cost of the air tickets for the deportees. The minister mentioned that he had met with the U.S. ambassador to Ghana and other stakeholders, adding that government would be resilient and provide resources to support the deportees.
Cannot expect much from the IOM because they themselves have become victims of the executive orders by President Trump. The consular fund will have to be supported, and we are hoping that when it comes to the approval of the estimates, honorable colleagues will help us in that regard. In line with the ministry's established practices and in collaboration with the relevant authorities, arrangements will be made to ensure the reception of our compatriots upon their arrival in Ghana. This will include health screening, psychological support, assistance with specific needs, and transportation to their final destination.
Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa also stated that 4 young children have been affected and assured MPs of their protection. He urged the citizenry not to stigmatize them upon arrival, emphasizing that they are not criminals but hard-working Ghanaians who were unable to regularize their stay in the U.S. The foreign minister further mentioned that as a result of the incident, some Ghanaians have found it difficult to attend public events and church services in the U.S.
And away from Parliament, Executive Director at the Mampon Center for Plant Medicine Research, Professor Alex Asase, has called for more funding to enable the center to undertake advanced clinical research into several diseases which could easily be treated by traditional medicines. He made the call at a meeting with herbal practitioners on the use of acquired technologies for drug production in the Eastern region.
Evidence suggests that about 60% to 70% of the Ghanaian population depends on traditional medicine for primary health care. However, the preparation of these herbs are not in convenient forms. The Mampon Center for Plant Medicines Research, through the Ghana Skills Development Fund, has acquired new machines for the manufacturing of plant medicines into solid dosage forms. Deputy Coordinator for the project, Dr. Doris Kumador, says 300 herbal practitioners would be trained before the end of the project's lifespan in April 2025.
With regards to all the equipment that have been acquired by the center, we aim at producing more of the solid dosage forms of herbal medicines from the liquids. Most of the products on the market are liquid in form, and these liquid forms comes with inconvenience of handling. So it is important that we upgrade and we show the herbalists how to prepare all the solid dosage forms so they can put them in the right forms and then make sure it has the effect that it should. And as
Executive Director at the center, Professor Alex Asase, said after nearly 50 years since its establishment, the center is struggling with funding to undertake clinical research into several ailments.
Of both communicable and non-communicable diseases for a very long time. We have very good observational data. We have patients who can attest to the effectiveness of these medications, and they have received their healing. Center for Plant Medicine Research was established about 50 years ago to do research into herbal medicine, but the support we get from government in terms of research funding specifically, it's non-existent. So we have been doing our best from the IGF we generate, and so we are urging government also to provide more funding to the center.
The center last year trained over 60 scientists and level staff on the use of the new technology.
Well, you're still watching the Morning News here on TV3 with me, Josh Quinn. And our government is set to allocate 2% of the GET fund to complement the implementation of free SHS as well as technical and vocational education TVET. Vice President Professor Jenano Pokwajiman, speaking at the closing ceremony of the National Education Reform Forum, is confident that this will help transform education in the country.
After a 3-week engagement with key stakeholders and experts, the Education Forum recommended that the government increase investment in basic schools to better equip students. The committee also recommended that significant investment be directed towards improving education in both rural and urban areas. On free SHS, the National Education Committee underscored the relevance of the program, but called for more investment into it. Chairman of the Education Committee, Professor George Odro, underscored the relevance of teachers in achieving positive learning outcomes.
There is low participation of secondary school students in TVET. The government must work closely with industry to improve the image of TVET, while integrating innovative training models, including digital learning systems, to make TVET attractive to the youth.
The Minister for Education, Harun Idrisu, commended the work done by the Education Committee. He stated that the government will allocate 2% of the budget to support TVET.
This year, of our GET Fund formula, will be the first ever allocation of at least some amount, 1-2% of GET Fund, to support technical and vocational education as a start. And we also intend to roll out what President Mahama will describe as the local scholarship initiative. Every public university will be given a certain support to train 5 PhD students beginning this year locally.
The Minister of Education also spoke about the implementation of National Research Fund this year.
That Excellency John Dramani Mahama will this year effectively operationalize the National Research Fund. It would be functional and it will work. I've requested the Ghana Education Trust Fund to make seed money available in the formula of the fund for the 2025 year.
Vice President Professor Jane Nano Pukwajimain emphasized the substantial funding that has been made available in the budget to support education.
We talked about making TVET attractive. I want to throw in this, that is all of us. Let us look at our language again. People don't do TVET because they are not able to do other things. They go to the exciting areas of TVET because that's where their interest is, that's where their strength is, and that's what the country also needs.
Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, has served notice to petition the Chief Justice over an interim injunction that forced the shutdown of a radio station in the Eastern region. The plaintiffs, in their affidavit, claim that the operations of the radio station and 2 others cause excessive noise, but the GJA has expressed reservations. Meanwhile, the association is calling for the arrest of illegal miners who attacked 3 journalists in the Western region.
Earlier in March, a district court in Kede Eastern Region granted an ex-parte injunction temporarily shutting down a radio station and 2 information centers in Esiom. The directive mandated that their operations remain suspended until the Environmental Protection Agency evaluates their noise levels and grants approval for them to resume broadcasting. But the GJA is not happy.
The Ghana Journalists Association, representing the Inky fraternity in Ghana, respect the decision of the district court, but we strongly disagree with the court in granting such a gagging order. It is our contention that the Cadet District Court erred in law in granting the order for interim injunction ex parte. Indeed, we believe the court did not carefully consider the grounds for the interim injunction before granting same. We respectfully call on the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana to take particular interest in this case. We intend to petition the Chief Justice accordingly, and we believe that our Mother Chief Justice will take keen interest in this matter.
The association also called on the police command to arrest some illegal vandalized the
Second D, the regional capital, in order to enable the victim to participate in the court proceedings. The GJA has observed that the posture of the police in handling attacks on our members, and here we are referring to the media, is not encouraging and does not give hope.
The absence of street light on principal highways in the capital and elsewhere in the country is also a major worry for the Ghana Journalists Association.
Movement on our roads at night has become a threat to life. Apart from leading to accidents on our roads, including knockdown of pedestrians, the absence of street light also fuels criminal activities, especially in quiet areas. We respectfully call on the Department of Urban Roads and Ghana Highway Authority, as well as other relevant authorities, to fix the street light in order to save lives and bring back night life in our major cities.
In a rather new twist, the Ghana Journalists Association has decided to host an evening program to honor distinguished personalities and institutions to mark this year's Press Freedom Day. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Accra.
Monitoring budget presentations can be complex and often filled with jargons. However, localizing the budget and bringing it closer to the public set the stage for Ghetto Connect's community outreach to various parts of the capital. Monica Tete is a 76-year-old trader. The business was passed down to her by a late mother, and she has been selling for the past 50 years. Sustainability has been a greatest challenge, along with a quest to move from a tabletop setup to a bigger space. Often, women like Monica face challenges in accessing credit facilities with high interest rates on loans. The Women's Development Bank was proposed by the then opposition National Democratic Congress to lend money to women. Now in power, the government has allocated 51.3 million cedis in the 2025 budget for the Women's Development Bank. This may not entirely solve the problems, but it's a step forward.
Business has not been easy, and so we pray that God supports President Mahama in his quest to resetting the economy.
Long life.
Auntie Monica may be a huge sympathizer of the NDC and also oblivious of the policies and achievements of the same party. It's this very gap that the Ghetto Connect is trying to bridge. The Ghetto Connect group, during the electioneering period, visited communities and ghettos to promote the policies and manifesto of the NDC to the electorate. Coming back to the same electorate to trumpet the achievement and explain in layman's terms, the recently presented 2025 budget meant a lot to the vision of the Connect.
Women's Bank but
I have never heard of the Women's Development Bank until today. Thanks for the explanation by the Ghetto Connect.
The group believes a lot has been achieved by the Mahama-led administration, and the commitment to do more should be lauded.
This is not government sponsored. This is not from the Ministry of Information. This is not from the Ministry of Communication. This is Ghetto Connect doing this. We're coming together with our little resource and what we can do to help the government. Instead of sitting on social media and complaining that I've gotten this, I've not gotten this. No, let's go to the very people who will not have the time to watch TV, who will not have the time to listen to radio, and explain what is in the budget for them.
The abolishment of the e-levy and betting tax, the commitment to the Women's Development Bank, the 1 million National Codex Program, and the No Fee Stress initiative have all been welcomed. Well, before we part company, 12 excavators and other mining equipment have been seized by police operatives in a 2-day swoop along the Black Volta Basin in the Bamboy enclave of the Bole district. And the operation, led by the Savannah Regional Security Council, aims to clear the enclave of illegal mining activities.
It's day 2 of this exercise, the Savannah Regional Security Council. Yesterday, when the exercise began, some excavators were impounded by the task force. Today, others have also been impounded. We are yet to transport some others to the Bamboy police station. Now, it is 7:30, and we are still here in the forest trying to move this equipment that you see in the background. According to the Savannah Regional Minister, Salisu Biawobe, ending the menace of illegal mining in the region is an ultimate task that he seeks to achieve because it is in line with his government's policy to protecting our forest reserves.
The difficulty that we are faced with is the ability to move some of the equipment. Obviously, they came and immobilized the equipment themselves when we could not pick them up. So today, there are several other equipment that we cannot pick, but we are making efforts to make sure that we use other ways to be able to move the equipment. You can see that
when we came yesterday and some of them were busy operating, today in our rounds, none was actually on the ground and on the forward operating. What we can see is the abandoned equipment that some of them have left, and we are making efforts to take them up. We are going to pursue this exercise. We will continue. It is not something that we will stop. In charge and having been trusted with the responsibility of governing Ghana cannot also go to rest. We must protect lives and livelihoods. The reason for which we are pursuing this, even in the middle of the night, we are still pursuing.
The river bodies, that is the Black Volta and the Tyne River, have all been destroyed. Heavy chemicals have been deposited in these river bodies, affecting the residents who use these waters.
Well, on that money note, we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. My colleagues are standing by to continue with the morning show. Good morning.
Today, the 22nd of March, 2025, from 10 a.m.